What's good, peeps? How's everyone doing? Hopefully everyone is doing well. Hopefully everyone is safe. I haven't done a video in like 2 or 3 days, so fingers crossed there is some new news to talk about and not just me regurgitating some of the old shit. I did say on my Patreon yesterday, I done a podcast, and I said it does feel very, very tense right now. All right, a lot of negativity in the air, all over social media. Every time the news is on, it's negative. I feel like we've all been stuck indoors for 2 or 3 months because of the coronavirus. I think it's 3 months now, right? It's about 3 months now. And now we've got this Black Lives Matter rally and protest, and I feel like it's just everyone's angry. Boy, tense times, people, tense times. All right, let's have a look and let's try and lighten the mood a little bit by talking about some boxing. Boxing did come back officially yesterday. Well, in fact, there was an event in Nicaragua. Is that how you say it? Nicaragua? About 7 or 8 weeks ago. So it's been back. But in terms of American fights, SHAKUR Stevenson fought yesterday, beating Felix Caraballo in the 6th. Obviously, this fight was at 130 pounds. I'm not quite sure if he's going to come back down to 126. I guess he will come back down to 126 if it's the right fight. Josh Warrington, the Gary Russell Jr., etc. No expense was spared in that fight card. Bloody hell. Jeez, man. I think Eddie Hearn mentioned this when he done his podcast with Tony Bellew and Dana White. He said that this fight card isn't going to be the greatest. So let's see what Eddie can do. But boy, and this is where the argument comes, right? Because right now, if you're watching the UFC fight cards, they're stacked. I don't know if you guys know too much about the UFC fighters. So you maybe watch the fight cards and they maybe don't seem stacked, but they're stacked in terms of talent. Especially the one they've got coming up, it's stacked, like ridiculously stacked. But then it's stacked because maybe these guys aren't getting paid, right? So, yeah, they're just not getting paid. You see Jorge Masvidal talk about pay. John Jones has talked about pay. Henry Cejudo, all big names, by the way, have all kind of come out and talked about pay. And then you've got someone like Ryan Garcia, who I think tweeted that he was offered $200,000 and he thought that was a bit of a disgrace. Like I think the Zone or Golden Boy offered him $200,000 to fight. He isn't fighting, and he felt like that was an insult. $200,000 is an insult. What the fuck has Ryan Garcia done? Like, what's he done? I don't know. And I think Javonte Davis laughed at it like, you think you're a big boy and you're only getting $200,000. These kids are getting, look, I'm all for you getting paid. Get paid. But for Ryan Garcia to smirk at $200,000, boy, I don't know. I really don't know. You can see why some of these fights are going to be nigh impossible to make, right? Nigh impossible. Can you imagine right now, like Ryan Garcia being offered the Devin Haney fight? Can you imagine how much money they both want? And remember, these are two guys. I know Devin Haney is a world champion, but kind of. But these are two guys that haven't done much for me. But can you imagine how much both of them are going to ask for? If Ryan Garcia is smirking and basically refusing a fight where he's getting paid $200,000 against a nobody, really, let's be honest, what's he going to ask for even the Linares fight? $500,000, comfortably, maybe more, 750,000. What is he going to ask if someone puts on the table an opportunity to fight Devin Haney? This guy might ask for millions. This guy's smirking at $200,000. Okay, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, boxing's back. Let's just hope that they can improve on the fight card. All right. Oh God, this one. Aram, I could see WBC make Fury franchise champion and upgrade Dillian White. I think this was an interview he done with Pep Talk UK. Go and follow those guys. Those guys are doing big interviews right now. Boy, you can see it happening, right? We've seen it. I mean, it happened with Canelo and Charlo. Charlo is the WBC middleweight champion for those that don't know. We've seen it with Lomachenko and Devin Haney. So it wouldn't surprise me if that were to happen. If the WBC get put in a situation where they can't give Dillian White his shot, before February 21st, and let's be honest, they're not going to be able to. They might just say, okay, no problem. We can't give you a shot, but here it is. Here's the belt. That is the belt, right? It is the belt. Here it is. Take it. And we elevate Tyson Fury. I mean, Dillian Whyte does not want that. We as fans do not want that, but they have previous. We have seen it before. They have done it. Boy. And there's nothing Dillian Whyte can do about that, by the way. There's nothing he can do about it. They might even make him fight someone for that belt. I don't know. As a fan, I would be livid if he does that. Or sorry, if the WBC do that. But again, their backs are against the wall now because of the delay in Tyson Fury fighting Deontay Wilder, which really and truly probably could have happened July, August. And then there is a good chance Dillian Whyte would have got his shot. But because of that delay, because of the Joshua situation right now, with Joshua maybe really wanting that Fury shot, and I think more people wanting to see Joshua fight Fury, understandably, they might be forced to say, okay, we're going to elevate Fury. Fury will take that. Fury will take the franchise belt, no doubt, right? Who wouldn't? He knows he's still the champion. And Dillian Whyte will be walking around with what I think is nothing more than a regular belt, a regular title. By the way, talking about Dillian Whyte, and I don't think it's here, did you see the Ring magazine have updated their heavyweight rankings? Now, I don't know when they done this. I was only alerted to it a couple of days ago. So not their heavyweight rankings, all their rankings. For example, in the pound for pound, again, this could have been done ages ago, but I just don't remember seeing it, that they've got Inoue above Terence Crawford. So their pound for pound rankings are Canelo #1, which was the case, Vasil, Inoue, Crawford, Usyk, Spence, Golovkin, Estrada, Bertabiev, Pac-Man. I could change a couple of those around and some people might not even get in there, if I'm honest with you, but it's interesting. But that's not what I was just thinking about. What I was thinking about was the heavyweights. Now, they've got champion, Tyson Fury, right? So it wouldn't be 1, 2, 3. It goes champion Fury, Joshua 1, Dillian Whyte 2, Deontay Wilder 3. Now, I'm not a historian. I don't pretend to be or claim to be, but this must be the first time that Britain have had champion and 1, 2. So basically 1, 2, 3. Must be. But what do you guys make of Dillian Whyte being above Deontay Wilder? What do you make of that? Is that fair? Does that make sense to you? Do you agree with it? Interesting. I'll tell you now, before Fury beat Wilder, they had the rankings as Fury 1, I believe it was Wilder 2. Then it might have been Joshua or Ruiz. I can't remember. But I think Dillian Whyte was like 4 or 5. Dillian Whyte is now above Deontay Wilder. Interesting. Yes or no? Yes or no? I'm trying to think of Deontay Wilder's biggest win. Deontay Wilder's biggest win is Luis Ortiz, right? It's Luis Ortiz the first time, because that's when Luis Ortiz was considered very dangerous, very dangerous. I know people are going to say hadn't fought anyone. Trust me, it was considered very dangerous. That was his biggest win. Dillian Whyte's biggest win, Joseph Parker. He's also beaten Oscar Rivas, also beaten Derek Chisora. This is all in the last sort of 2 years. That's solid. That's very solid. Does that mean he's above Deontay Wilder, who has got a draw? I know it wasn't a draw, but the record book said it was a draw against Tyson Fury. So in his last 4 fights, he lost to Tyson Fury, yes, a draw with Tyson Fury, a win against Luis Ortiz, and a win against Dominic Breazeale. I don't know. I don't know if I would have Dillian Whyte above Deontay Wilder. I'm not quite sure. Also on their records, they've got Luis Ortiz as number 4. I don't know about that. I know I've always beated the drum, sorry, for Luis Ortiz, but again, who have you beat, Luis Ortiz? I love you, dude. I love you, but you've beaten nobody. Andy Ruiz, number 5. Andy Ruiz should be above Luis Ortiz. Andy Ruiz has got a win against Joshua. He was the world heavyweight champion, right? Fact. Povetkin 6, Parker 7, Hunter 8, Oscar Rivas 9, who hasn't beaten anyone, if I can't think of who he's beat, and Pulev 10. Don't know. Interesting. What do you guys make of that? Let me know. All right, what else have we got? Let's go back to some news. What else have we got here? More on SHAKUR Stevenson thinking that he's a 130 pounder. 130 pound division ain't a joke, but we'll see. I'm seeing this. I've seen a few videos and photos of this. CHISORA doing MMA training. He wants a Bellator fight. Don't know. I don't know. Maybe he just wants a fight in the interim. Remember, CHISORA is not the kind of person. He's not an AJ. He's not got sponsors like left, right, and center. So if CHISORA doesn't fight, where's the money coming from? And I think he knows, like we all know, that the Usyk fight isn't happening until 2021. So CHISORA, isn't going to get paid any money until when in 2021? I don't know, February, March? I mean, that's a long time, right? So he might be thinking, you know what, if I can have a Bellator fight in between, I mean, are Bellator going to do shows behind closed doors? I'm guessing they are going to follow suit like what the UFC are doing, where he's going to get paid, I don't know, 400,000? I don't know. I'm just saying that number. Then, yeah, not sure. Maybe he does really want to do a Bellator fight. Maybe it isn't just a stunt. Remember, he's very, very close with MVP, Michael Venom Page, who is a Bellator fighter as well. So I don't know. I see he's working on his wrestling, his kicks. I mean, you can't just work on a bit of wrestling and kicks and think you're going to do something in the MMA world. You can't. These guys that are wrestling are literally Olympic level wrestlers, world championship level wrestlers. The guys that are kicking are some of the best kickboxers ever and Muay Thai experts ever. So good luck to CHISORA. He's tough as old boots, but good luck. Ryan Garcia, furious at the zone. It's fucked up how I'm being treated. Okay. Next. I've already spoken about that. We're not going to go in there. Frank Warren. I would have liked Daniel Dubois to fight for a world title in early 2021. I interviewed Frank Warren for Boxing Social, I don't know, 6-7 months ago, and he said exactly that to me. He said that, and I was interviewing him, holding the camera, thinking, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what? And I'm happy that this delay has happened, so they haven't tried to rush Daniel Dubois into a world title shot. I mean, like, obviously this is promoter talk, and Frank's gonna do promoter talk, but in what planet are you from that you think he can go from what he's gone from? So the Fujimotos, the Lattes, the Tetes, the Gormans, right? To fighting for a world title in early 2021. I mean, even if he did beat Joe Joyce, he's at least 3 or 4 fights away, maybe 5 or 6, right? There's got to be a steady progression. You can't rush this kid. Danny Dubois is what, 21, 22. What is the rush? Like, can we build him properly, please? Jesus Christ, man. Like, just take your time with him. There are so many now good fights out there for him, like so many good stepping stone fights. Like people mention the likes of Carlos Takam, stepping stone fight. Gerald Washington, stepping stone fight. I mean, Charles Martin, stepping stone fight. We saw what Helenius done to Kalnaki. That's how dangerous it is, right? Kalnaki wasn't supposed to have problems with Helenius. There's people like Helenius out there, stepping stone. There's so many before you even get to that top 15. And then it's just obviously, I mean, bombs everywhere. All right, last couple of bits here, peeps. Frank Warren set to stage first shows in UK after pandemic. Yeah, I read this a couple of days ago. Frank Warren is looking to do shows at the BT Sports office, which is just here in Stratford. So a few minutes walk from the Copper Box. Let's hope that these shows are half decent. I think I read somewhere that the first show is going to be a British title fight, which is good. What we're going to see more of, though, is guys get opportunities. And what I mean by that is normally when you got these prospects coming up, I don't know, they bring over someone from Europe or they bring an African over just to give the guy rounds. Now we're going to see sort of British guys get fights, right? So they can't call in people from all over the world anymore. So you're going to see more local guys get fights, which is good. He's talking about doing fights every week as well. So again, these boxers get out now. We get to see more shows as well. I just hope that we get decent fights, right? I don't want what I saw yesterday. I thought some of the fights on that top ranked card were a bit, I just hope that, look, it's the first one, so I'm not going to be too hard on it, but I just hope that we get to see competitive fights and not just crap, just, you know, put on TV because we've missed boxing. Let's give us what the UFC are giving us, right? And I know the UFC are paying less for their fights, but regardless, give us that. Give us some decent competitive fights with some good names. What else have we got here? Spence, Ugas is a great fighter, but outside of hardcore fans, nobody knows him. I hate this. I can't lie to you, I hate it. Imagine like as a boxer coming up, like you do your job, right? Your job is to stay in shape, be as good as you can. Like the idea that, you know, you're going to get to a certain level and you can't really move past that level if you don't have a big fan base or if you don't have a massive promoter kind of beating the drum for you. A lot of these good boxers coming up don't have a fan base. They don't have a big fan base. They're not big ticket sellers. They maybe aren't known outside of the hardcore fans. That's not their fault. It's like there's this thing in boxing where it's like you don't get a chance, or it doesn't seem, well, you know, Ugas got a chance, so he's a bit different. He got his chance against Porter, close fight, could have gone either way. But it's like you don't get a chance if you aren't known and aren't a big ticket seller, right? There should be like a league table. It's not going to happen because obviously so many sanctioning bodies. It should be a league table where regardless of your fan base and social media base, and if you're a big ticket seller, if you're ranked number 18, you fight number 17, like literally keeps on going up until you get your shot. That should happen with the sanctioning bodies, but it doesn't always happen, let's be honest. Someone can jump like that. It's crazy. Like, I'm pretty sure Sean Porter is now, I have to double check this, but I'm pretty sure, I can't bother to check, but I'm pretty sure he's ranked number 1 with the WBC. He just lost his WBC belt to Errol Spence. Like, no, to the bottom, work your way up again. But that's boxing. I don't know if any of that makes sense what I just spoke about, sorry. I really don't know if it does. Anything else before we wrap up? What else have we got? Anthony Joshua, I believe in talented BUATSI, but he'd have to step up game against Anthony Yarde. It's weird how, I think that's everyone's thinking that, by the way. But if you were to ask people a year ago who wins that fight, I think a lot of people would have said, oh, BUATSI. Now, I think we're all saying Yarde. We just want to see BUATSI step up. BUATSI's got to step up. I feel like he's lost a bit in the last sort of year and a half. Obviously, he hadn't had many fights. He was supposed to be on the Katie Taylor undercard of when she had a fight in Manchester. He got pulled from that because of injury. He needs to step up big time. We've seen it with Yarde now. Yarde had that step up and he was that close to winning a world title. That close. BUATSI needs to step up. By the way, those two are never going to fight. I have absolutely no hope in seeing Yarde against BUATSI. Even if Yarde signs the Matchroom, I still have no hope of seeing it. So that's a shame. All right, I think we're done. There's other bits and pieces, but we'll make another video tomorrow and touch on those. Peace.